Good afternoon, and welcome to the Center Stage Seminar Series event. My name is Tiffany Willoughby, Research Education Programs and Outreach Manager in the Office of Research at the University of Texas at Dallas. I will be your moderator. Joining me today is Keri Burns, Director of the University Career Center. Keri Burns joined UT Dallas in December 2018 as the new Director of the University Career Center. She has over 17 years of higher education experience specializing in undergraduate and graduate student career development and creating experiential learning opportunities. Keri has worked at both public and private institutions leading small and large career services teams. Originally from Illinois, Keri considers Texas to be her second home since she keeps finding her way back to the DFW area. She was formerly the Assistant Director of Recruitment Operations at the Neeley School of Business at Texas Christian University, where she worked closely with recruiters and hiring managers in various fields such as supply chain logistics, marketing, accounting and finance, real estate, and healthcare, wishing to recruit MBA students and alumni for internships, co-ops, entry-level, and experienced full-time opportunities. During that time, she gained an extensive wealth of knowledge and experience in recruiting, trends, and the hiring needs of DFW area and national employers interested in hiring Neeley graduates. She has most recently served as Director of Career Services at her alma mater, Southern Illinois University Carbondale, and the University of West Georgia outside of Atlanta. Keri received both of her degrees from SIU Carbondale, a bachelor's degree in hotel administration and master's degree in workforce education and development with an emphasis in human resources. Throughout her career, she has gained extensive experience with assisting corporations with writing countless internship and job descriptions, developing compensation structures, revising effective performance evaluations, and creating effective behavioral and emotional intelligence EQ interview questions. As a result, she is skilled in assisting students with writing detailed resumes and preparing them for interviews in various career fields, levels of work experience, and employment situations. Keri's passion is to help students in all stages of their life discover their best career fit and provide a model for career changers and career enhancers as they navigate the waters of an ever-changing 21st century workplace. She is committed to helping students and professionals define, develop, and strengthen their personal brand that will best promote their skill set for their desired career and hopes to continuing connecting employers with our talented students at UT Dallas for many years to come. Please join me in welcoming Keri as she takes center stage in the spotlight. Keri, welcome.
Tiffany, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here to talk about the University Career Center. As you mentioned, I've been in higher ed and in career services for 17 plus years. It's the only thing that I've enjoyed doing in higher ed, getting an opportunity to connect with employers, helping our students learn more about the world of work, having an opportunity to make them have those connections has been a lifelong passion of mine. So thank you again for having me and for giving me the opportunity to talk about the University Career Center here at UT Dallas. A little bit about the University Career Center. We're a vital resource for all students from their first year on campus to beyond graduation. We work with alumni, current students, employers, community members that are looking for those qualified students. We want to help every student and alumni that we work with find meaningful careers. As you're all aware, there are 8 schools at UT Dallas: A&H, ATech, BBS, EPS, ECS, IS, JSOM, and NSM. One of the things I'm most proud of since joining UT Dallas is, and it seems small, but we were able to rebrand in 2019 and focus our University Career Center message to serve all students, A lot of our students are fortunate out of the JSOM school to have the Career Management Center. So they're duly blessed in having professionals that are here to connect them with employers, help them identify the skills that they're going to need in order to be successful in the workforce, and then also working with ECS and their IPP office that helps their students in engineering find their passion in the field of engineering. But being the University Career Center at UT Dallas means we are responsible for providing those resources and services to all 8 schools. And we enjoy working with students from the moment they step foot on campus so that they can begin those conversations early on. I always like to tell our students that we don't have a vested interest in what their career paths are, like mom and dad. We want to hear from them. We want them to tell us what they're interested in, what their passions are, what their skill sets currently are, and what skills they need to acquire before they finish their program in order to be successful. So while you're working with your family members and friends that might have influence on your career path, working with the University Career Center, we get an opportunity to let students be themselves and tell us where they are in the process. We like to meet students where they are and help them get to where they need to be in order to be market ready by graduation. One of the major areas that we focus on in the Career Center is career development. That's one of our four pillars within the University Career Center. I mentioned getting a chance to work with students early on in the process. We want to talk to them about major and career exploration, even for those students who know that they want to enter healthcare per se, or engineering, finance majors, marketing, whatever it is that they come here with those preconceived career options, things that they know about, that they've seen on TV, that they've known since they were little kids that they wanted to pursue, that they know that their parents have been successful in. We still want to be able to have those conversations so they know what a day in the life is going to look like in those particular fields, what classes they're going to have to take. So we work really closely with undergraduate academic advising for those students who come in, which I always encourage students to come into school that first year without a major, so that they can focus on those core classes that regardless of your academic career plan, you're going to have to take. And that way you have time to be exposed to the different types of career paths and the different types of majors that UT Dallas offers. So we help with major and career exploration. One way that we can help with that are career assessments. Now, not those career assessments you might have taken in high school that come back and say, you'd be a great teacher, you'd be a great law enforcement officer. It's an opportunity for students to take career assessments, focusing more on their interests and their skills and where they are right now. So they don't always come back with job titles. They don't always come back with industries, but they come back with personality types. If you're interested in being a public speaker and being able to help and having an opportunity to get in front of your constituents on a regular basis, but your personality doesn't align with that, you want to know that going into school and going into the workforce. It's not saying that you can't be successful in any career that you choose, but some things might be more of a challenge. And having an opportunity to know that early on, so you know how to overcome that, is one of the things that we offer with our career assessments that are available to all students free of charge. Resume and cover letter reviews, so important. The nature of recruiting, the nature of applying for positions and being able to market yourself successfully against other candidates is so vital. And our students need to be able to learn how to create effective resumes and cover letters, no matter what their career path is. And our office can definitely help you with those. LinkedIn profiles and networking strategies, so important. Having an opportunity to have someone review that professional social media presence in order for recruiters that are looking at potential candidates to narrow down who they're going to interview. We want to make sure that your profile is up to date and reflects who you are as a professional and an individual. So we want to be able to help that networking piece that is so crucial. What hasn't changed in the last several years is that about 80% of jobs are found through networking in the hidden job market. So just applying for jobs online that you find on the company website or even on Indeed or even through LinkedIn, those are great. And that's a way for you to learn about all of the opportunities that are actively recruiting. But there are inactive recruiting activities that are taking place all the time. And we want to teach students how to network and become familiar with that hidden job market. Internship and job search strategies are probably our number one outside of resume and cover letter reviews, a type of appointment. Our students need to learn about the different skill sets for looking for jobs and internships. The benefit of being on a college campus, I tell students all the time, is being able to learn from each other. So our students are participating in internships and externships in industries and companies across the globe. And why not learn from them and find out where students have been successful and even unsuccessful? And I say that because an internship is also an opportunity to learn if that's the path that you want to take, if that's the route you want to take, if that's the industry that you think it is. If you want to work for a smaller company or a larger company, you don't know until you have an opportunity to experience that. So why not have that firsthand knowledge by being able to talk to your peers that have already had those experiences? So starting with the basics, students need to come meet with us so we can talk about those. Mock interviews, just like resumes and cover letters, you have to be successful in effectively marketing yourself. So you might look great on paper, but you may have a struggle interviewing. And so we want to be able to provide you with as much practice as possible. We have online resources that I'll talk about a little bit later that will give you experience 24/7 to get some additional practice in. But we can also meet with employers that participate in mock interviews, as well as our staff to learn how to answer certain questions. Students always struggle with, tell me about yourself. Why are you interested in this company? Why are you interested in this industry? Why are you qualified for this position? Those are the things that a lot of our students and candidates struggle with because they haven't practiced. And we want to make sure that you have those opportunities before you get that phone call for the interview. And then salary negotiations. How exciting is it that you get a job offer, maybe multiple job offers? How do you navigate that? How do you have those conversations to ensure that you're getting those salary offers that reflect your worth, your experience, your education? And those conversations can't just be because I need more money or I want more money. It really does need to be about how are you going to remind them after the interview that you are a strong candidate for these types of positions. And so that requires practice. So those are just a few. We have several different types of opportunities for our students to schedule appointments, but those are our top requested appointment types that our students really need to take advantage of and have been taken advantage of in the University Career Center. I mentioned early on that the major and career exploration piece is so important, but faculty members will probably be upset with me for saying this, but I've been doing this for a really long time. But major does not always equal career. We know that our students are not necessarily getting that first job out of school that was within their major. It may be a bridge job to help them gain some additional experience. If our students did not participate in an experiential learning opportunity like an internship or an externship or a student employment part-time job on or off campus, and they did well in school. You know, we have a lot of students that here at UT Dallas, they're high achievers, they do great in school, but they don't have much experience outside of the classroom. And that's not being market ready in your competition are candidates across the country, not just sitting across from you in the classroom or right now across the computer from you in this virtual space. So we want to make sure that those students are market ready. But major is not always going to equal career. We have students that change majors multiple times. On average, almost 80% of all students change their major at least once, and that's the national average. Upwards to 3 times in their academic career that they change their major. That not only costs a lot of money, to extend your education. It's a lot of time in additional coursework that you have to ensure that you have the graduation credits for those new majors. And so we like to meet with students early on so that they're not changing their major more than once, that they identify a major that they're secure in pursuing. And so when that's not always the case, then we end up finding students that need to graduate and get that first job out of school that might be in an industry that they hadn't considered, that wasn't on their top list, just to gain that experience because they didn't gain it while they were in school. So major doesn't always equal career, but our goal in the Career Center is to make sure that our students are finding jobs right out of college or advancing their career if they're coming back to advance the career that they're already in. That it may not always be their first dream job, but are they market ready? Do they have the skills that all employers, regardless of career path, are looking for? And those are those essential skills, not the hard skills like the computer skills that students might need, but those essential skills. Used to be called soft skills, but we like to call them essential skills because regardless of major, regardless of career path, employers want to see communication skills, problem solving, leadership, the technology skills, and that you can pick up on technology, but not the specific technology, just the ability to pick up on new technology, and flexibility, recognizing that things are always changing. COVID is a great example of that, being able to be adaptable when you're in an office or in the field and all of a sudden now we're working from home. Are you going to be able to adapt quickly, or is it going to take a little bit more time for you to catch on to the new technology that your company is using to ensure that you're staying on top of your roles? That's what employers are looking for. And so we want to be able to educate our students on how to gain those essential skills in the workplace, through internships, even in the classroom. But they don't know that until they've had an opportunity to meet with someone. They do well in school, they excel, they're getting good grades, and so they think that they are now ready for the workforce, but they don't know how to translate that. So the career goals of our students are really important, and that's something that we really want to have those conversations with early on, not the second semester of their senior year. We want to see students early on in their process. As part of the career development process, we have several online resources, and definitely during this period in time, being able to have access to resources 24/7 is essential. And these are things that our students have always had access to, so we did not have to make many changes when it comes to providing students access 24/7 to career development resources. But a few that are on here: Interview Stream. I talked about mock interviews early on, and there's opportunities for you to gain experience practicing your interviews with a staff member, with employers throughout the semester that volunteer to help prepare our students. But Interview Stream is a great resource that all you need is internet access and a webcam. There's no system that you have to download. It's virtual on our website. You just create an account, and you have access to over 7,000 pre-recorded interview questions based on industry, functional area, so that you can gain experience answering specific questions. You can then send the interview to a career consultant to provide a critique. You can send it to a faculty member. That networking piece that we talked about earlier is so important. You have professors that have come from industry that have connections in that field, that worked in that field before or during their time of teaching these classes, and they can provide feedback on how you answered certain questions that are really related to how successful you can be in that industry and in the workforce. And so Interview Stream is a very valuable tool, and if I can stress that enough to any student that is on this call or having an opportunity to listen to this, please practice your interviewing skills. You might have all of the experience employers are looking for. Your GPA might be just phenomenal, but if you're not able to market yourself and show how you stand out and talk about your transferable skills, you're not going to get the job. because there's other candidates that are going to be able to come in and effectively market themselves during that interview piece, and for no other reason, just being able to connect with that interviewer. And right now with the job market, there's a lot of competition, not just for entry-level positions, but experienced positions. And so we want to make sure that your interview is not the reason why you're not getting the job offers. Vault is also a resource that if you were out in the real world and were not affiliated with this university, you would pay upwards to $80 annually for a subscription to all of the resources that Vault provides. I've used Vault for 17 plus years, which means every university I've ever worked, everything I've done in career services, I've always ensured that the Career Center had a Vault subscription because I find it so valuable. Having the opportunity to learn about the different industries and what those employers are looking for, who's hiring, what the educational requirements are, what employees, past and present and current, say about what it's like to work in those industries is so valuable. And no matter who you talk to, whether you're working with someone in the Career Center, we have some great professionals, but there's not anyone in the Career Center that's going to have experience working in 20 different industries. It's just not possible. A lot of our information we gain through talking to employers and reading up on the Vault resources as well, connecting with the professors and the academic deans of each of the schools to learn more about those industries. But if you're interested in engineering, if you're interested in finance, interested in becoming a speech language pathologist, do you know what it takes to be successful? Vault is going to be able to, short of having someone in your back pocket to talk to about every facet of that career, Vault is the next best thing. And so that's why I always make sure that students have access to that resource. So Vault, students get a account and you can have that the entire time that you are enrolled at UT Dallas. It has industry guides that we highly recommend you download. That way you have it even after you graduate, and there's no limit on how many industry guides you can download. I can't stress how valuable that resource is enough. Focus 2, I mentioned career assessments, working with students on career and major exploration, is one of our top career assessments that we offer from the career development team. I highly recommend it for freshmen and sophomores and undecided students because it gives you an opportunity to learn about the different career paths that are available, especially those that are offered here at UT Dallas as far as majors, and helps make that connection between major and career early on. So even though we know students could change interests halfway through their academic career, if you take the Focus 2 and meet with the career development staff early on, you have a better chance of identifying those different career paths and the majors that we offer here earlier in the process. So Focus 2 is one of our many career assessments that you have access to 24/7 and free of charge by being a student. BuzzFile is a free resource, but it's available on our website. I enjoy this service so much. Students have reached out and said, thank you for providing this. I didn't know this existed. If you are interested in a specific industry, but you're not quite sure what companies to even start pursuing, right? We have brand recognition, right? There's employers that we all know, but there doesn't mean that there's not 50 just as many valuable companies out there that students would have great fit for. And so BuzzFile allows you to do a search by industry and location. If you grew up in the DFW area, you're at UT Dallas, but you know when you graduate, you want to move to Colorado. But you have no idea what companies are headquartered or even located in various cities across Colorado, BuzzFile is a great resource for you to find out. I use it all the time because again, I've been in career services for 17 years, but there's absolutely no way I could know about every company that exists in every field across the United States. And so we always recommend that students use this resource. If they want to stay in the DFW area, it also has that information. If they want to stay in Texas, great. but it's very valuable if you are willing and open to other opportunities outside of the state and learn about those companies and learn more about the companies that are in your backyard that you weren't aware of. So those are just a few of the available resources that we think our students need to utilize on a regular basis to help with their career development. The academic portion is so important. You're getting great information in the classroom, but if you haven't learned how to translate that into the workforce and how to research those companies and industries prior to starting your job search, you're going to miss the mark. Now, Handshake is our -- resource in the University Career Center. If you take nothing else away from my presentation today, Handshake, Handshake, Handshake. That is the resource that we use to connect with our students. So if you want to schedule an appointment with one of our career consultants, you're going to schedule it in Handshake. If you want to RSVP for any of our career development workshops, any of our employer career fairs, look for jobs, you need to have an account in Handshake, which all incoming students automatically got a Handshake account created for them. The minute you register for classes, whether you've logged in or not, you are in our Handshake system. The information about the student profile connects to Orion and it's updated every day in our office. 4 a.m. every single day, we get a new download to ensure that the student's GPA is accurate, your current major that you have declared with the university. So you can't come in and say that you're an ATEC student when the university says you're an A&H student. It is based on your classification here at UTD. But if you want to change that officially, then you would do the following process, and it'll be downloaded the very next day in Handshake. So it happens almost in real time. So everything that you do with the Career Center, the Handshake platform is the way to go. You can conduct a job at Internship Search. The beauty of Handshake is that it's not just local to UTD and the Texas area. Handshake has thousands of universities that it partners with and countless number of employers across the country that have jobs and internships posted. So the beauty of Handshake is an employer can be located in Colorado and say, I want to push this job out to all 50 states and every school that has a Handshake agreement. Or they can say, I'm only interested in Texas schools. Or they can say, here's my top 5 schools, so I only want to post it to that school. So Handshake gives you access to employers across the country that are looking for candidates based on background, experience, majors that we offer. And then we also have the employers that just recruit at UTD. They want to recruit us. And so they post in Handshake because that's our platform, and no other school sees those jobs. So there's that benefit of having those relationships with local employers as well. I mentioned before the event and fair registration. We highly recommend, especially now in this virtual platform, that you have to register, unlike when it was on campus and you could just show up, be dressed professionally, have your resume in hand, and walk around and hope to have a conversation. This virtual space is a lot more intentional. You do have to sign up to say that you're going to attend the event and sign up for sessions with the employers that you are interested in. It does require a little bit more preparation, which I appreciate, because the biggest feedback we get from employers when we have events is that the students didn't necessarily do their research, right? They came and they wanted us to sell them on the company or the position, when we want to meet students who already know what we have to offer and are coming to meet with us to say why they'd be a good fit. So in this virtual space, students do have to come a lot more prepared than they did when they were just walking around the activity center. So the event and fair registration piece is in Handshake. I mentioned the appointment scheduling. We have multiple types of appointments that are available with our career development staff. I mentioned a few before: resume and cover letter, interviewing, job and internship search, LinkedIn, preparing for graduate school, salary negotiations. But we also have other types of appointments as well. If you are looking to talk to someone about how to report your internship, which I'll talk about a little bit more. You can schedule an appointment to ensure that you have everything you need to submit the process to get your internship, your academic internship approved. That's something that's new to our office. Instead of having to email or just drop by and hope someone can answer that question for you, you can schedule appointments as well. And then the online resources. I just shared in the previous screen several of the online resources that we have available. How to access all of those are also in Handshake so that you know how to create your individual accounts. The beauty of the majority of our accounts is that it's tied to your UTD credentials, so you don't have to create 20 different unique login information, is that it is tied to your UTD account. A lot of people don't know that student employment, on-campus student employment, is also out of the University Career Center. So not only do we help students in their career development, we want to make sure that you're gaining that experience that employers are looking for. And so on-campus student employment is a big piece of our operations. And so helping students gain work integrated learning and professional development while actively pursuing their education is important to us. We know sometimes it's about getting experience, but sometimes it's just about needing to be able to help pay for school, or you have everything you need to pay for school, but you need walking around money. And so we want to make sure that you have access to those types of opportunities. The beauty of on-campus student employment is that you're a student first. And so we do limit the number of hours a student employee can work on campus to 20. And that's because we want you to focus on being a student first and an employee second. But we also want to make sure that those experiences are meaningful and developmental, so that you are not just walking away and saying, I have walking around money, but I also gained experience that employers are going to want to see, whether it's just work ethic, being able to communicate with supervisors, being able to complete tasks while also going to school. Sometimes that's that added benefit that employers are looking for, and that edge that employers are looking for that first entry-level job versus someone who just finished their degree but didn't gain any additional experience. So the student employment staff in the Career Center oversee about 2,200 student employees at any given time to make sure that they have been onboarded. We started implementing new student orientations. So just like if you are a faculty and staff member and you get oriented to a new job here at UT Dallas, you want to know what it's like to work here on campus. Going to school here can be different than going to school here and working here. You're going to see a different side of the operations for departments, divisions, areas that you work in, and we want to make sure that you know your rights and responsibilities. So we do offer new student orientations. We also provide refresher trainings, supervisor training for those on-campus departments that might be new to supervising students. We saw an uptick in the number of departments who participated in late spring and over the summer, just due to the new nature of how to supervise student employees in a virtual world. No one's done that before, and so there was no playbook on how to be successful and how to manage a virtual employee. And so we saw an uptick in the attendees, but also received a lot of feedback on how great it was to be able to have us as a resource to ensure that the students were gaining valuable experience. So we work with about 200 on-campus hiring departments, and we serve as the HR for student employees. So everything from the onboarding piece. So you would get that email saying, welcome to UTD, here's your job offer, and here's the information that you need to get hired. Bringing in your social security card, your birth certificate, your ID, same thing. And for a lot of us, the piece that's so important and actually thrilling for us is that we get to work with students. This is their first job that they've ever had. They didn't work in high school. They didn't gain any additional experience. This is their first real-time job. And so that's just exciting for us, and we really enjoy that. So when I say we serve as the HR, it's very transactional, but then it doesn't end there. We check in and we're making sure that you know that you can reach out to us if you have any questions, if you're having any issues with your supervisor, or want to have talk about how to have crucial conversations and finding out again your rights and responsibilities as an employee. We want to make sure you know what that is, because you're a student first, but we also embrace you and find the value that you bring in the positions that you have here on campus. We also coordinate with the Office of Financial Aid to monitor students that have Texas Work Study and Federal Work Study Awards. So a lot of our students that are eligible for Federal Work Study, the benefit to departments is that the students don't see any difference. They're getting paid that hourly rate, but the benefits to departments is that you are only responsible for 25%, where the university and the federal government is providing funds for the other 75% of the salaries for that student employee. So if you budgeted a certain amount for student assistance to help run your office, and you end up getting a student who's on work study, well, maybe you get to hire a second or third student. Now your budget can be increased a little bit more and stretch a little bit farther to employ more students. So that's definitely a benefit. If we have anyone on this call from the university that has thought about having students and you want to learn more about that program, please reach out to us. Another program that we've had it for a really long time, but I'll admit we did a really bad job of marketing it and letting everyone know that this existed, is that we have what's called the Comet Serve program. And that's unique to us, but it's a federal program, and it's called America Reads and America Counts federally. We receive funding to ensure that students that are on federal work study can also gain experience off campus in positions that focus on providing primary level reading and math skills tutoring to children, while also being able to give back to their community, work in the schools, work in community service type positions, and also get paid. Again, the benefit to those organizations is that we pay for 75%, and the off-campus employers only pays 25%. So they are able to provide experience to our students in an off-campus capacity. Right now, we have about 30 students in that program, and we want to continue growing that. Right now, we're going to probably hold off trying to expand that until we're back in the real world and more of these academic schools open back up. Because as you can imagine, with a lot of these tutors in schools, a lot of these institutions are not having visitors, and a lot of students are still working remotely. So our goal is to expand that and double the number of employers that we are partnering with next year. So again, if you're on this call and you're in the community and you know someone or an institution, an academic institution that would like to partner in a public school, please let them know that this is also a program. And for our students that are interested in education as a career path, this is great experience that they can receive. Or again, community service opportunities that they can get paid for. I mentioned before about internships and how important it is for students to gain experience outside of the classroom. And another piece that I'm very passionate about in the Career Center is our experiential programs. Experiential learning is the process of learning through reflection, hands-on experience. We want students to gain real-world experience through internships, externships, co-ops, job shadowing, interning abroad, and other career networking opportunities. It's so important not to just remind students that they need to get these experiences. We have a team designated to ensure that they are providing these opportunities for our students and working really closely with our employer partners that can provide these experiences for our students. So we have a team of 4 members in the experiential programs team in the Career Center that put on workshops on a regular basis. And right now we were able to quickly move to these virtual workshops. Right now, this week, we are doing National Internship Week, or UTD Internship Week. And so we've had events, 2 or 3 events every single day this week through Friday, from international internships, international students completing internships, education, experiential learning opportunities, and the list goes on and on. So definitely check out the list of remaining programs that we have going on. But it's also our job not to just remind students to get these experiences, but be able to identify what experiences are available to them as a student. A majority of our students have an opportunity to get internships for academic credit. It is based on their academic program, so we do encourage all students to check with their academic advisor and their program directors in each of their schools to see how that would fit into their overall academic plan. We are not academic advisors. We never claim to be. We work closely with them, but we do want to make sure that every student has already talked to their academic departments to see how that fits into your graduation requirements. Is it a part of your degree plan, or do you want to just make sure that you're getting additional experience that you can put on your resume? And maybe you don't need academic credit, you just want to gain experience, which we highly recommend regardless of your degree plan. But in order for you to receive academic credit, a couple pieces that are on here I just want to make sure everyone is aware of. You must be in good academic standing, which is a minimum of a 2.0 GPA for undergraduate students and 3.0 GPA for graduate students. You must, and I can't stress this enough because we do have a lot of students that do an internship one semester, realize they could have gotten academic credit, and then try to register for a class for an internship that's already completed. You do have to register for the internship in the semester that you are completing the internship, because there are requirements that you have to complete in order to receive credit. And so you can't do it after the fact. So always want to stress that you have to be in the semester that you are completing the internship and you're enrolled in courses. You have to have completed at least one semester at UT Dallas and have at least a minimum of 24 plus credit hours already completed. We and employers as well want to ensure that they're hiring students that have a skill set that they're already bringing to the table. So you can't be an incoming student or someone who's just finished, their first semester and say, now I want to get an internship, and you haven't really completed any classes in a particular major. They want you to focus on your credit hours as well. But you can always work with your academic department to find out what the eligibility requirements are. And then find out what your school requires. We say a 2.0 minimum, but your program might require a 2.5. You might have to have junior standing, so 30 plus hours. You have to work with those academic departments. But after you have determined that you are eligible, then you will report your internship to the Career Center, and we monitor those. We're going to approve them by taking a look at the job offer letter that you received from the employer. We're going to look at the job description to ensure that it fits within your academic plan. If you're a political science major, we want to make sure that the experience you're gaining falls within the experience you're going to gain. That's going to make sure you're market ready, right? We don't want to just approve that and you're paying for an academic internship course and what you're gaining experience in for these internships aren't going to help you after graduation. So we are looking at the job description and the offer letter, especially for our international students. That is so important to make sure that you are meeting all of the requirements that are outlined for your particular visa type. And so we work closely with the ISSO to ensure that we are on top of the latest rules and regulations related to immigration rules and laws. Another program that I'm very excited about is our Explore the WOW, so Explore the World of Work. That is our job shadowing externship program. In the past, we focused on helping you gain experience and just being able to provide or have an opportunity to network with professionals in your field during spring break. So that's a great opportunity, right? So you get to meet with an employer. Spring break, you're not traveling to Florida to the beaches for spring break. You want to get some experience finishing out your sophomore year before you enter that junior year and decide on that particular major. But now that we're in this virtual world, we've been able to expand it to take place year round. And even when the world goes back to normal, if that is a thing, we want to keep this program going year round. So we will always have our signature program during spring break when students aren't in classes and have a little bit more time to devote the entire week. But right now, we are still continuing to provide opportunities for students to connect with potential employers year round. So whether it's a day opportunity, a day-long opportunity, a week-long opportunity that they decide on separately, we are finding ways to connect. So just imagine it being a job shadowing opportunity, an informational interview that can last longer than an hour, where you're getting to learn more about those industries. And it's just a great networking opportunity. So Explore the WOW has been around for several years, but this year we were able to expand it to be a year-long program. So we're really excited about that. Last but not least, our last pillar outside of career development, student employment, experiential programs, is our employer partnerships. None of that would be possible if we weren't also being able to provide students with opportunities to connect with employers. And so we want to make sure that you have the confidence you need to successfully interact with employers through networking, industry panels, company information sessions, and other unique recruiting events. When we were on campus, we were doing a lot of these events, of course, in person, where employers were coming to travel to different college campuses, trying to get in front of students in the classroom, company information sessions, of course, our career expos. Those types of events are really key to recruiters across all industries. But in this virtual world, we've had to, and they've had to, find other unique and innovative ways to connect with students across the country. And so we are still providing opportunities for students to attend virtual career expos. Those are our largest events. One of the benefits of being virtual is that we've been able to expand our offerings to focus more on industry-specific expos. If you've ever had an opportunity to attend them in the past, they're in the activity center, and there was 3,000 to 4,000 students that were there, which is a great turnout. But that's a lot of hand-holding and trying to get your personal brand out in 20 to 30 seconds before they moved on to the next student. And so there wasn't a lot of time for one-on-one interaction. They still came. The students were getting good opportunities, but 3,000 to 4,000 students, you were in long lines. Those recruiters were having to shake a lot of hands. And so that might be a thing of the past, at least for the upcoming recruiting season. And for a while, these recruiters are finding other ways to connect with students, and we want to make sure that we're providing them with those opportunities as well. Our employers are hosting their own individual information sessions. We're now that they might be hosting a session on their platform, and schools are signing up to attend their events versus an employer coming on campus and hoping that a student shows up. So now they're maximizing their time and their efficiency, and then now there's no recruiting budget. They're not having to spend their money sending employers to 10 different campuses, where now the students are coming to them in this virtual setting. So I really think that just with my experience in this field for so long and seeing how we've had to change so many offerings, I can see for the next year or so employers continuing to do this. They're going to be able to see a lot more students and get their brand out in a larger scale. So definitely become more flexible, be prepared, be more targeted in the types of events that you want to attend. But if there's an employer that's going to be there, that's a prime opportunity to network with them and get more one-on-one versus 1,000 to 3,000 and hope that they remember you when they've left campus. Our employer partnerships are so important that actually this Friday, and I'm really excited about being able to do this. We were going to launch this last year before everything happened, but we are forming an employer advisory board. I think it's important for students to know that we are not just giving them what we think employers are looking for, even if we've been in this field for a long time and are professionals and can be considered subject matter experts when it comes to the career development process. We want students to know that we are connecting with employers and learning from them. So we have created an employer advisory board. And so there's still opportunities for those to join our board as well, but our first meeting is this Friday, so I'm really excited about that. And so in order to support the mission of UT Dallas to produce engaged graduates prepared for life, work, and leadership, we've created this board so that we can learn about best practices in the world of recruiting and certain industries to take back to our students, also take back to our faculty partners to talk about the curriculum and our students market ready. Are they learning in the classroom what they need to be successful? And so we're really excited about another way for our employers to connect with us, even if they're not able to attend all of the multitude of events that we have available for them. Speaking of events, I mentioned that our virtual career expos are our largest events and that we have more industry specific. We just finished our fall events, but I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to see what we are going to have available in the spring. So for those students that are listening in, mark your calendars. And that is a typo. I just noticed that February 18th is 2021, and so that is next year. Our Comet Serving the Metroplex. So I talked about that Comet Serve program. That's going to be an opportunity for you to connect with those community organizations and academic institutions, and those public schools that are still looking for tutors and paid volunteers in those different opportunities. So that is February 18th, 2021. Then our industry-specific career expos, public service and education. That is targeting our students in IS and EPS. So any student can attend any of these events, but these targeted events and industry events are for our individual schools so that you can see representation of the employers that are looking for your unique skill set. So for EPS and IS, mark your calendar for February 24th. And then our STEAM Career Expo, which is normally our largest day of our fall and spring of career fairs when we were in person. That is March 3rd. All of these are taking place on Wednesday. And that's going to be your JSOM students. That's going to be your arts and technologies, your ATEC students, ANH, BBS, NSM. So 5 schools right there. If you're interested in the science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics fields, those are that's the career fair for you. March 10th, our Health Professions Career Expo. So again, IS, BBS, NSM, if you're interested in healthcare or any health professions, maybe you thought you wanted to go to med school, you got here and realized, I don't necessarily want to be a doctor. I want to help. I like health and healthcare, but I'm not necessarily trying to go to med school. So what other career professions are out there, or healthcare professions are out there? We want to make sure that you have access to those. And then our Just-in-Time Career Expo is an opportunity for any of those employers that didn't know what their recruiting needs were going to be or still have positions available, and that's available to all majors, and that's in April. And then having the opportunity to connect with employers on and off campus looking for part-time employees will be April 15th. So that's a little bit about all of the recruiting opportunities that you can still engage with employers and our students and our alums, because this is open to alums as well, throughout the semester. This is just, and we're adding events all the time. These are the ones that are scheduled for right now, but we always are able to be adaptable and reactionary when the world presents challenges or opportunities. We want to be able to answer. So we will also be able to create more industry panels and opportunities for employers to connect with our students, whether it's through those mock interviews or conducting information sessions using our platform on Microsoft Teams, or promoting their events at their organization. So with that, I gave a lot of information in 50 minutes. I could go on and on. I love career services. I love being at UTD and working in the University Career Center, because as I mentioned, there's a lot of different opportunities for students to connect through career development, through student employment, through experiential programs, and our employer partnerships. And so I am definitely here to answer any questions that students or anyone on the call might have. But thank you so much for having me again today. This is our contact information. So if you just have a general question, the Career Center inbox is monitored Monday through Friday, 8 to 6. Employee relations, if you are looking to recruit our students and want to find out about any of those opportunities. You recruit at UT Dallas. If you want to learn more about the Explore the WOW externship program or academic internships, though that information is on there as well. So with that, I will stop. And thanks again. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Keri. We do have a few questions in the queue.
Great.
And the first question is, what's the difference between an internship and an externship?
Great. Internship is usually a semester long. There's going to be student learning outcomes. Those are going to be opportunities for you to get academic credit or just gain experience. So you and the supervisor would usually establish learning outcomes, things that you want to learn before you finish this experience. And it usually takes place through an entire semester. Each academic school, like I mentioned before, has different requirements. You might have to complete up to 160 hours or 240 hours, depending on how many credit hours for the class you want to receive. You can do internships for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. We've seen them approved up to 6 hours of academic credit. So those usually last for a semester. Externships are job shadowing opportunities. There's usually not any additional student learning outcomes. You may not actually work on any projects. The experience is getting an opportunity to network with employers, shadow them to find out more about those opportunities in that industry. The best experiences that we've had, and that I've been doing this for 17 years and I've always promoted externships, is for the student who comes back and says, I'm so glad I did that. There's no way I want to ever do that as a career. And I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have done this externship. So they change their major or they change their focus, right? So maybe their major doesn't have to change, but their concentration or the electives that they take, or just the career path that they want to pursue changes as a result of learning more about that industry or that company that they only read about or heard about. And so the difference between both are very valuable. It's really the length of time and the fact that you are usually producing products. Internships, we always encourage to have students get paid internships if possible, because you are going to produce work for this company. You are going to actually, have a tangible product that you are leaving with them, where the externship is more about the experience and the networking opportunity, and they usually just take place in a short amount of time, like a week. And a lot of our externships might be 1 or 2 days. So those are the big differences between our internships and externships.
Thank you, Keri. What are 3 tips for a good interview?
Practice, practice, practice. So I don't know if that counts as all 3, but number 1 is practice. I don't know just an experienced and great interviewer, right? You have to practice. Tell me about yourself. I've seen so many people get hung up on answering the question, tell me about yourself, And that's usually the first question you're asked. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've watched students and candidates when I've been interviewing get up and leave because they were so nervous and they didn't know how to answer that question. And it might be a pre-screen question. I've had people hang up because they just realized that they were just rambling after 10 minutes on the tell me about yourself, and they just got so nervous. So practice is so important. That's the number one, is if you have a job interview coming up, and we'd rather you practice before you even get the call for the interview, so you've been practicing multiple times. So utilize interview streams so you can be in the comfort of your own home. It's available 24/7. Again, webcam and internet access is all you need, and you can pre-select the questions by industry, and it's an opportunity. It's very interactive, and so it would be a recording, kind of like how you're seeing me right now, asking you questions, and you can see your responses. So you get to see yourself on a recording, and you can count how many times you said and like. That's one of the features. It's always interesting to watch that with the student afterwards, and they realize, I said it 30 times. I probably shouldn't do that in a real interview. Like, yeah, let's work on how you're going to answer those questions so you're not searching all the time for the answer. So practice is number one. Two, it kind of goes with the practice, but it's also taking a look at the jobs that you are interested in now, so that you can figure out where you meet your deficiencies are, and where you excel. So when you're preparing for interviews, you got the interview because of either your application, your resume, or cover letter, right? You're probably not going to get an interview if you haven't marketed yourself in some kind of way, even if it was through networking, or someone told this employer about you. They gave them some information. So you now have the opportunity to talk about what's on your resume and cover letter. That's what got you the interview. So know your experience, right? If you made it up, you're going to forget, and you're not going to have the stories that you need to tell about how great you would be in this position. So don't make up information on your resume and cover letter, but only put information on there that you can talk about, right? So don't tell me you were a member of certain student organizations, but you really only did it, paid your dues, and never went to a meeting. You can't tell me what the mission is of that student org. You can't tell me what the benefit was of being a member. But if you put it on your resume, a potential interview question that's going to come up is, I'm assuming you put it on here because you wanted me to know about it. And if I ask you a question about it, you need to be prepared. So the practice, really important. Two, be familiar with what those employers are looking for early on, because if whatever you put on your resume and cover letter and what's in that job description, if they don't align, you're not going to get through the interview. You're not going to be the strongest candidate. Even if that marketing material was so well written because the Career Center got a chance to take a look at it or a faculty member approved it, if you get in there and you don't actually have those experiences, they're going to see right through that. Number three, I'm going to go back to the practice part. I don't think there's a third one. It's the practice. So I'll say practice the first one with us in the Career Center. The third, I would practice with an industry expert and having someone who's worked in that field prep you through those types of questions, because I think it's really important that someone who's in the Career Center who can tell you about the basics of how to answer certain questions and how some are stronger than the others is really good. But then I would also practice with someone who's been in that field. Talk to faculty members who have maybe worked in that industry. Reach out to alums that work in those fields on LinkedIn. I've never, ever, again, been doing this for 17 years, reached out to an alum, whether from my alma mater or the school that I'm working for and trying to connect with, that wouldn't connect with me because I just wanted their time. I wanted to just learn more about how they got into their field, and said, hey, would you be willing to talk to this student? They want to learn more about these opportunities. I've never had anyone turn me down. Now, there's been times where you never heard back, right? And they were just busy and they didn't hear back, but no one's ever said no. And so I always encourage students, before you have any interview, reach out to someone who's in that field and just find out from them If you were going to interview me, what would you want to know? You went to UTD. What were some of your biggest accomplishments? What are some of the things that I need to highlight in my interview, whether it's from the coursework to the projects that you got experience, your part-time job, the internship? Have that mutual experience and learn from that so you know how to market that with that employer.
Thank you very much, Keri, for sharing your time, talent, and resources with the attendees and community at large. For additional information and a comprehensive list of Office of Research events, please visit research.utdallas.edu. Have a nice afternoon.